Kathleen's Trident Trail, coming to you today on Friday, May the 22nd. I'm going to right off the bat warn you that we might have a lot of interruptions. We have a dishwasher installer here. Our dishwasher quit working last week, so he's here this morning and the dogs are not happy about it. I have them kind of satisfied right now with toys and treats and snacks and Kongs and that sort of thing, but we'll see how long that lasts, and I may have to take a break and go take care of them for a little bit. So here's the new do. I did make the decision that I don't want to have my hair colored anymore and go back to its original color, but I needed a haircut and was finally able to get in yesterday. Had a very interesting new normal experience at the salon with having to wear a mask the whole time, which really wasn't too bad. But just some interesting things, like even when she was doing around my ears, having to hold the undo the mask here, but hold it up to my face, wait in the car until it was time to, until she was ready. No waiting inside, no sitting in the waiting area, no magazines, no cup of tea while you're having your hair done. In between processing, I went back out to my car, which was very interesting, and they recommended it so that they can kind of sanitize everything and then have you come back in and they finish you up, and so it was very different. I decided to go back to my own color, but she convinced me that rather than just let it grow out, to color it back to its basically original color, which this is pretty close. My hair's pretty dark. But I always called it mousy brown, and she informed me yesterday it's rather ashy, so my hair has a kind of an ash tone to it. And then she put some bits of light in there to blend in with the grays, or so that the grays don't grow out quite as shockingly. And then that will be it. I won't color it anymore, and we'll just let it go. I did ask her if she thought I would eventually be all gray, completely gray. And she said no, she thinks I'll be salt and pepper. So I don't mind. I don't mind being all gray. Actually, I think gray is actually very beautiful. But I look younger probably than I am. I'll be 53 next month, and I've asked several people their opinion, and several people have said, well, it's going to make you look so much older if you go all gray. So anyway, and then we cut it short so that we could cut out most of the old color and get rid of that. And so I'm pleased. It's very different. It's very different. My kids were shocked. They were like, that's what color your hair is. So kind of funny. Anyway, let's get right to it today, because I don't know how many times we're going to be interrupted. I want to start today with the giveaway. And so this week we had Hands-On Designs Well-Rounded, and so cute. Hands-On Design Well-Rounded, and I did random number generator. 12 people were interested, and random number generator, and I did this 1 through 12, starting with the very first person who made a comment was number 1. And Fran B, E1, well-rounded. Fran B said she loves seasonal stitching, and she has so many that she had to start working on whips. She's working on the long ABC series, which I think maybe is Country Cottage Needleworks, and she said she also likes calendars like I do. So Fran, I will put my email address here. If you'll shoot me an email and let me know that this arrived, or let me know what your mailing address is, I'll get it in the mail to you on Monday. Today's Friday. I'll get it in the mail to you on Monday. For next week, I have another recent duplicate, and this is a strange case. I actually think I know how I did this. I think that I kind of was looking around to see who was carrying the Trucking Along series on 2 different occasions, and made the decision that I would go ahead and order it, and then made the decision that I would order June's and kind of see, and then decided, a week or so later that I wanted the whole series, and signed up with Fat Quarter Shop to get the whole series, and still got that extra June. So for next time around, I have Trekking Along, brand new, never been used, June. And so here it is. If you're interested in it, let me know. Let's talk about June. June is my birthday month. So I think this is so perfect for June. I do think of strawberries, and this is just summertime, you know, little white flowers and red checked tablecloths, and having picnics outside. And growing up in Colorado, June could still be a little bit cool. June typically wasn't the hot summer heat that we would get in July and August, and it's kind of like that here in Nebraska. Sometimes June can be a little bit hotter. It all sort of depends on when the humidity hits. So if the humidity hits, which it hasn't yet, hits soon, then June will probably warm up quite a bit. But if not, we might have a little bit of a cooler June. We've had an awfully cool May, and I'm not going to complain, although the hardest part about May is that we haven't seen the sun, I don't think, much at all. So that has been a bit of a struggle. So if you're interested in trekking along June, just tell me something about the month of June that you find interesting, or a memory that you have, or whatever, and we'll do the same thing next week. Okay, I had a couple questions last time. Deanna Ellett, Ellett, asked me, several people commented on the Halloween rug, and Deanna asked how I cut wool. And because the dishwasher man is here downstairs installing the dishwasher, and I'm upstairs, I don't have it. But I have a wool cutter, and so there are a variety of different wool cutters. I have kind of a top-of-the-line one, only because that's what's available here. They are made in Iowa. They are made by a company called Beeline. They used to be owned by the Townsend family, and they were Townsend cutters. And I have a long arm cutter, so it actually will cut 8 strips of wool for me at a time. And it has a variety of different blades. I have number 3 blade, which is my smallest blade for my smallest cut of wool, all the way up to, I think I have a number 9 blade, which is quite a thick piece of wool. So yeah, that's what I do, and it's a very easy process. It's a very relaxing, methodical process. I enjoy cutting wool, and yeah, so that's how I cut wool. And then Linda Eskew asked about, or didn't really ask, but commented about the face masks that I made, and sending those off to friends, being washed before each use. And yes, those need to be washed before each use, or after each use, or whatever. And I ask everyone that I give face masks to, I ask them to throw those in the wash at their house before they use them as well. Just to be on the super safe side. So yeah, I think that's pretty important, especially if you're out in public with it. And I keep mine in the car, and then when we go out, we use them, come back home, throw them in the wash, launder them, put them back in the car. That way we don't forget them. But I do think they need to be washed, every time. So okay. So let's see, what have I been working on this week? There has not been a lot of stitching gone on this week. I have a dog down here just dying for my attention, and it's not the puppy. It's my little Baxter. He's usually not so needy, but I think both the kids are asleep, and there's a strange man in the house, and he's just kind of confused as to what's going on. Hasn't been a lot of stitching this week, but a few things here and there, and some new starts. I'm still kind of in the mania, let's start whatever. I'm starting anything that I have kitted up. I haven't, as of the last couple weeks, started, kitted anything new up. But if I had something kitted up and I've had a hankering to start it, then I did so. But it's been a really busy week, and it's been very... there's just been lots of things going on, and yeah, work's been a little bit crazy, and all kinds of things. We've planted, done a lot of flower planting. Yeah, it's just been kind of a crazy week. So anyway, I had this kitted up. I believe this was a new release at market this year, and I've had it kitted up for a couple months now, and it's Eden's Dollhouse. I think I showed it to you before, and I think it's just the cutest. I absolutely love it. And so it was all kitted up, and I was actually kind of reorganizing some whips, and I had it in a drawer with some whips because I intended to start it a while back and did not. So I got a little bit of a start. Got some snakes hooked, snakes stitched, and one of the first little wonky trees, and yeah. So I love this. I love this so much. I'm stitching this on 32 count vintage country mocha, and I absolutely love it. So would like to work on that a little bit more today. I'd actually brought it upstairs after I was finished with work to work on it, and then got waylaid by dogs and dishwashers and all of that kind of stuff. I don't remember if I showed you this. I think I did. I think I did show you this last time. Hands-on Designs, a year of celebrations. Decided I wanted to do these in a set. And so I got to start this week in June. I worked on this one evening. This is just on a piece of scratch fabric. I almost thought I had what it was. I do. This is 32 count feldspar, hand dyed by Teresa Bennett, Shakespeare's Peddler, and there's my start on June. Using all the called for colors. Oh no, not all the called for colors. Most of the called for colors. The sandcastle was another color. I don't remember what it was, and 1, 2, 3 stitch was out, and so I just substituted with something that I had on hand that I thought looked kind of like sand. That's reading a little bit brighter than it really is. But yeah, so there's that. Ryan got up, and so then the dogs got kind of antsy, and I apologize. Now Bindy's at the door barking at me. Another new start this week was Threadneedle Street by Annie B's. I think that's so cute. I love this plaid. The quilts on the side of the houses. I didn't realize that these are spools of thread in the fence. That's really cute. Just got a tiny start on this. Well, not all that tiny, I guess. A few of the words, and boy, that's showing up nicely, isn't it? I like that. A few of the words and a start on the house. That might be one to work on today. Okay, sorry about that. I had to just quit until the installer left because it was just the dogs were going too crazy. Okay, so anyway, the next thing is I have been watching Julie McConnell at Reflections Framing and Stitching's daily videos, and she showed a chart that I have been in love with since it came out, and I don't even know why I didn't get it, but for whatever reason I held off getting it, and she showed it the other day with a piece of fabric, and it was just perfect. So I had her go ahead and kit it up for me, and it's Saltbox Sampler by Brenda Gervais. Everybody's seen it, I know. I absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. I think it's so pretty, and really would like to do just some small pieces, kind of like this, some little pillows with some little houses on them. I think that is to die for. Julie showed this fabric, and it's not the called for, and I love it. I think it's so pretty. It is a piece of granite linen, 36 count, which I don't know. I think this actually calls for 40 count, so I wouldn't be able to put it in the box, but that's okay. I'll find something different to do with it. So here's my start, and that granite is showing up. It's kind of a browny gray color, but look at how pretty that coral shows up on there. I think that is gorgeous. So anyway, that is, I got a chance to work on that one evening this week. I can't even think of what evening it was. I don't know why it's been such a crazy week. It's kind of annoying, actually. Okay, and then one last piece of cross stitch that is, I think, pretty darn far along, and I showed you this last week, Rise and Shine by Scissor Tail Designs. Absolutely love it. I'm doing this one with the house. And got ahead a little bit of a start on that, quite a nice start. Let me get, I'm sorry, get tails out of the way and stuff out of the way here. I'm doing this in the called for, except for the blue. It called for Deep Sea by Weeks Dye Works, and that wasn't available, and so I'm using a piece of, oh, let's see, what is that? I think it's Classic Color Works. Nope, it's a piece of DMC 930. So, just some cute red, white, and blue with a little bit of gold thrown in. Cute. Easy. Easy, easy. So I hope to get that finished up this weekend, and actually would like to get it FFO'd and put it with my chickens. The only other thing that I've worked on this week from a stitching standpoint is a bit of long stitch. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get everything back where it went, because, or where it goes, because I'm afraid that if I get things mixed up, I'll have a problem. This is I'm in my office, and I spend a lot of my day now in my office, where before I pretty much worked, and if I quilted, I would be in here because this is my sewing room as well. But other than that, I would just go downstairs and, rug hook or stitch. Excuse me, I'm very tired. Rug hook or stitch downstairs. And with Brian working from home, and he's kind of taken over the dining room, and really it has worked out just fine, but he can tend to be a little bit loud sometimes. And then I don't know how it works, but they have some app that they're using that all of the he's a natural gas trader, and all of the traders, it's like they're all in my dining room. They're not. And he can't see them all, but he can hear them all, and so that way they have constant conversation going. And then his phone rings, and so it's just a lot of noise that I'm not used to. And so I tend to just stay upstairs I realized I let my chair down a little bit, and so I'm very low. Probably like seeing the top of my eyes. So I just tend to stay upstairs for the most part. And so I have, behind you is a set, or two shelves that have mostly books on them, pattern books and some floss and just a variety of things. I'd really like to redo this room completely. And on the bottom shelf of one of the shelves are all of my long stitch whips. And I don't know, I go in phases of working on those, and I sometimes I really feel like working on them, sometimes I don't. But anyway, I was sitting here you're on my cutting table, doing something the other day, and I happened to glance over and I saw this long stitch and thought, oh, I want to work on it. And so this has been the thing that I've worked on this week in between work. So when I've gotten reports in but am waiting on responses back, then I've been working on this. And so it's from Nancy's Needle, and it's part of her regional quilt series, and it's Autumn Barn Quilts. And I love it. I think it's so pretty. And I started this a while back and had this tree done. And so this week I have finished up the can't think of what this block is called. Lone Star, maybe? Lone Star block. And then I'm on to this block, which is, I don't know what it's called, but it's this one. Sorry for the glare. So these are not hard to do, and they're really not even, they go pretty fast when you work on them. So that's a lot of fun, and I've just kind of been doing that in between everything else. I have some notes here. Book-wise, I finished, I think I told you about Lighter Than My Shadow by Katie Green. I finished that this week. That was the first graphic novel I've ever read, and it's quite big. It's probably about that big. But it goes quickly because it's a graphic novel. It was excellent. Very, very good. Highly recommend if you get a chance to read that. And it is available here in the United States. I got it on Amazon, or you can order it directly from Katie. I think she has an Etsy shop. You can order it directly from her and she'll sign it. So then I moved on to, I recently got Kindle Unlimited because I found myself buying so many Kindle books that I was not really spending wisely. And I decided that with Kindle Unlimited, I would use those unlimited books, pay a flat fee, pay a flat fee, and have access to more books. And so I did, and a book that was recommended was When We Believed in Mermaids by Barbara O'Neill. And so I started that this week, and it's good. I'm enjoying it so far. So that's it. I have had, it's just kind of been a weird week. I don't know. Things are opening up. We did decide to go ahead and try to go out to dinner one night this week on Tuesday night. I had an appointment in the afternoon, and then Maddie was coming back from Sioux Falls, and Ryan had a lesson that he had to give at 7 o'clock, and so we had a very short window for eating dinner and decided it would just be easier to go out, and we won't do that again anytime soon. The food was excellent, but no one was wearing masks. It was not... The restaurant isn't doing, this particular restaurant that we went to isn't doing what they need to be doing, just even by standards that are still in Omaha. So, yeah, that wasn't the greatest of experiences, but, you know, it was okay. We had a nice time, but we won't be doing that again soon. So, I don't know, it's supposed to be really rainy this weekend, and which is fine with me. I do need to get some more flowers planted. Not a whole bunch, got the majority of them in, but have a couple pots left that I need to plant, and was kind of disappointed with flowers in the garden centers around here, and I'm sure it's just the nature of the beast with everything that's going on right now. So, you know, I'm sure it's not their fault, but limited supplies, and what was there was not in the best of shape. So a couple other places I want to try this weekend, and hopefully during off times, and maybe if the weather's yucky, there won't be a lot of people out shopping. So, but other than that, I don't have really anything else. I mean, it's just kind of, you know, just kind of slow, different times. So I want to leave you today with this. Oh, and Ryan wrote me a new intro, and so I'll insert that and enjoy that. I asked him for something a little more thoughtful and quiet, and so he did that, and I'll use both of them interchangeably. And then I asked him to write me something a bit longer that I could maybe use in the middle if I film a video, say of outside or whatever. I'm going to insert some pictures of some of the flowers that I have growing and a few that I've planted this week, and so I don't know if I'll probably do those at the end. So I want to leave you with a quote that I found this week. This comes from one of my very favorite authors, J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is from The Fellowship of the Rings. And it's such a perfect quote for everything that's going on in the world today, and I just thought, so anyway, I want to leave you with this quote. I hope you have a lovely Memorial weekend and get some stitching in. I hope there's sunshine where you are. We could use a little bit of that here. And take care, and I will see you next time. So the quote is, "The world is indeed full of peril, and in it there are many dark places, but still there is much that is fair. And though in all lands love is now mingled with grief, it grows perhaps greater." Talk to you soon.